Hello, I'm going to talk to you today about how to use the conjugation chart to determine subject-verb agreement. Let's look at the conjugation chart. So the conjugation chart is just a formal way of looking at the way that we conjugate verbs. So for example, the verb to be, if you want to use I as your subject, you would say I am. You're conjugating the verb to be to fit the subject of I. So you've got your persons, first person, second person, third person. And what this means simply is the first person is the person includes the person who's speaking. If it's singular, it's just the person who's speaking. If it's plural, it includes the person who is speaking plus other people with that person. Second person is the person to whom I am speaking. Now, you is singular and plural. In the South, we tend to use y'all to reference several people to whom we are speaking at the same time. And then he, she, and it is third person. It is singular for a person about whom we are speaking, and they is the plural of several people about whom we are speaking. So he is intelligent, or she is intelligent. They are intelligent. I'm speaking about either one person or several people. Okay, so let's go ahead and conjugate the verb to be in the present tense. And notice I've added present tense in the top left-hand column here. I have the verb that I am conjugating and the tense that I'm conjugating it in. So everything for to be, our conjugation of to be, is all the same. Second person singular as well as first, second, and third person plural. All are except for first and third person singular. So I am tired, he, she, it is tired, but you are tired, we are tired, and they are tired. Okay, the next verb we're going to look at is to have, and notice that the third person singular, again, in this case, has got the S on the end of it, and all third person singular verbs in the present tense will have that S on the end of it. Notice how everything here is have except for third person singular. The verb to do in the present tense, everything is do except for, again, that third person singular, and it's got an ES on the end, but it ends in an S. So, because all of the other person pronouns are do, sometimes people will forget and use do when they mean to use does. So I added several more examples here for you because I wanted to hit home that idea that the third person singular verbs always end in an S in the present tense. So notice every conjugation of the verb to think is think except for third person singular. He, she, or it thinks. And then the verb challenge, the conjugation in every instance is challenge except for in the third person singular. He, she, or it challenges. And then to jump, every instance of conjugation is jump except for the third person singular, which of course is jumps with that S on the end. So I wanted to talk about this today because I want my students to be able to understand how we determine subject-verb agreement. So what I want us to do in a few seconds here is to convert our subjects into pronouns. That way it will help you be able to determine the correct verb form to use. So let's look at this first one here. I put a copy of the conjugation chart there for you. But you have my, dad, and I. So I said that whenever you're using first person, it's going to include the speaker, right? So if I was going to refer back to my dad and I would have to use which pronoun? My brother Sam. So I'm talking about Sam. I'm not talking to Sam. So which pronoun would I use? Patricia and Harold. I'm talking about Patricia and Harold, not to Patricia and Harold. So what pronoun would I use? Jogging. If I refer back to jogging, how would I refer back to it? What pronoun would I use? A piece of cake and a glass of milk. What pronoun would I use to refer back to a piece of cake and a glass of milk? And then finally, the cat. How would I refer back to the cat? So write your answers somewhere if you wish, or just remember your answers. Let's go check your answers. So these are the correct answers. My dad and I, if I refer back to my dad and I would say we. So my dad and I enjoy fishing. We go every Saturday. My brother Sam. If I referred back to Sam, I would say he. My brother Sam is very intelligent. He begins his internship at the hospital next week. Patricia and Harold. Talking about Patricia and Harold will be they. Patricia and Harold have just bought a new home. They are very excited. Jogging. So jogging is going to be it. Third person singular. Whenever you have an ing sounding word, a gerund beginning a sentence, or as the subject in your sentence, then that's going to be a third person singular. So jogging is very healthy. However, it is very challenging. A piece of cake and a glass of milk. They. A piece of cake and a glass of milk are a very good way to end a meal. They add just the right amount of sweetness. The cat is going to be it. So the cat is lying in the sun. It is lazily wagging its tail. Okay, so let's look at some ways that we can actually conjugate now a verb. So I showed you how my dad and I are going to be we. I provided you a copy, a small copy here of the conjugation chart, and I want you to conjugate the verb in parentheses. So my dad and I blank a new boat. So we already know, because it's my dad and I, is going to be we. How are we going to conjugate the verb to have? So my dad and I have, I'm going to write it right here, have a new boat. My brother Sam, so we've already said that my brother Sam is going to be he, right? Let me get rid of this little equal here. My brother Sam is going to be he on the conjugation chart. I am, you are, he, she, it is, right? So is beginning his internship at the hospital. Patricia and Harold. So let me go ahead and get rid of this and say Patricia and Harold, and the verb is to do. So I do, you do, we do, they do, right? So it's just going to be simply do go dancing every weekend. All right. Jogging, I told you, is third person singular, is it. On the conjugation chart, I am. Also, the word is to challenge. Excuse me. I challenge, you challenge, but he, she, it challenges. So jogging challenges, meaning first-time exercisers. A piece of cake and a glass of milk is going to be they, right? So we're going to put are, because if you conjugate it, I am, you are, he, she, it is, we are, they are. So a piece of cake, and a glass of milk are not very helpful for breakfast, but surely are tasty. We're going to conjugate the word to jump. So the cat is going to be an it. So the cat, I jump, you jump, he, she, it jumps, right? So the cat jumps at my laser pointer every time I shine it on the floor. So I hope that this little mini lecture helps you to understand the importance of the conjugation chart and how you can use the conjugation chart to help you determine which verb to use or which verb form to use. If I were you, I would go ahead and take a copy of this. You're going to have it in your notes. I would just copy it and put it on a blank Word document. Print it out if you would like to, or make several copies, and then you can conjugate any verb you would like to conjugate, and that will help you when you're struggling trying to decide which form of the verb you need to use. I hope this helped. Have a great day. Thank you very much for listening.